You wake up and the first thing you do is check your phone. You want to know what happened overnight. Did someone message you? Did the world change while you were asleep? Maybe you don't even realize it, but you're trying to feel in control of your day, your life, your environment. And that's the very illusion the Stoics warned us about centuries ago. The addiction to control. The illusion that you can shape everything around you. That you can bend life to your will if you just try hard enough. But here's the harsh truth, you can't. And the more you try, the more life will remind you of your limits. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, ruled an empire. And yet, in his private journal, never meant for anyone else to see, he wrote words that would echo through time: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Imagine that. A Roman emperor with armies at his command, accepting that there are things even he can't control. If he had to remind himself of this, what about you? What about me? What makes us think we can micromanage life, people, fate? You see, this obsession with control isn't new. It's ancient. But in our modern world, it has taken on new forms. We track our calories, monitor our sleep, organize our schedules down to the second, set goals, measure progress, read productivity hacks, try to optimize every moment of existence. But let me ask you, for what? To feel safe? To silence anxiety? To pretend the universe won't throw chaos your way? That's the lie we keep telling ourselves. That if we just plan better, think smarter, anticipate more, we'll finally be in control. But deep down, we know it's not true. A single phone call can ruin your day. A single accident can shatter your plans. A single betrayal can break your heart. You didn't see it coming. You couldn't have. Because life doesn't answer to you. Epictetus, the Stoic slave-turned-philosopher, had no freedom over his body. He was beaten, humiliated. And yet, he found freedom of the highest kind, the freedom of the mind. He said, some things are in our control and others not. That's where Stoicism begins. That single line divides the world into two parts, what you can control and everything else. And the only path to peace is to stay on your side of the line. But we don't. We cross it all the time. We try to control what people think of us. We try to control outcomes, weather, luck, even death. We want everything to go according to plan. And when it doesn't, we panic. We rage. We suffer. But here's the thing, the suffering doesn't come from the chaos, it comes from our resistance to it. Seneca once said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Why? Because we create stories. We fantasize about how things should be, how people should behave, how events should unfold. And when reality doesn't match the script in our head, we call it a disaster. But what if it's not? What if the only disaster is expecting the world to follow your rules? You're addicted to control, but you weren't born that way. As children, we knew how to flow. We knew how to fall, cry, and get back up. But then the world taught us fear. It taught us shame. It taught us the pain of unpredictability. And in response, we built walls. We made plans. We tried to hold the reins. But the tighter you grip, the more life slips through your fingers. Here's what the Stoics knew. Trying to control the world is like trying to hold water in your hand. The harder you squeeze, the faster it runs away. Instead, they told us to let go. Not to be passive, not to be weak, but to act where we can, and surrender where we can't. That's not giving up. That's wisdom. That's courage. Look at nature. The tree doesn't resist the storm. It bends. The river doesn't fight the rock. It flows around it. And yet we, the so-called rational beings, try to command the wind. No wonder we're always exhausted. No wonder we're always anxious. Because we're fighting a battle that cannot be won. Let me tell you a story. There's a legend about a Stoic philosopher, Cleanthus. One day, someone asked him, "What if everything falls apart? What if the worst happens?" And Cleanthus replied, "Then I will meet it as I meet the sunrise, with calm eyes and a steady heart." That's the spirit we've lost today. The power to face chaos with stillness. The strength to say, "Let the world do what it will, I will remain who I am." But how? How do we let go of this addiction to control? The answer is simple. But it's not easy. First, you have to ask, what is truly in my control? Your thoughts, your choices, your effort, your response. That's it. Everything else, your reputation, your health, your past, other people, the economy, time itself, is not yours to command. Once you draw that line clearly, you begin to live differently. You stop arguing with reality. You stop needing guarantees. You stop fearing uncertainty. Because you finally see that control was never the answer, clarity is. You become like a ship's captain, steering your vessel, but accepting the wind. You work hard, but without attachment. You love, but without possession. You dream, but without demand. That's Stoic freedom. That's peace. And it's not just philosophy, it's survival. Because life will test you. You will lose things. People will betray you. Plans will fail. And in those moments, control will vanish. Only your character will remain. That's why Stoicism doesn't teach you how to control life. It teaches you how to face it as it is. Raw, uncertain, beautiful, brutal, and still stay standing. There's something powerful that happens when you let go. You stop drowning in what ifs and should have beens. You become present, alive. You notice the little things, the breath in your lungs, the sun on your face, the kindness of a stranger. You stop trying to control the storm, and you learn to dance in the rain. That's not weakness, that's strength. That's what it means to be unshakable. Marcus Aurelius buried his wife, his children, his friends. He fought wars, endured plagues, ruled through chaos. But through it all, he returned to one truth: if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. In other words, focus on what is yours. Your actions. Your integrity. Your soul. Today, we measure power by how much we can control. But the Stoics measured power by how much we can endure. How much we can accept. How much we can stay rooted in our principles, even when the world burns. That's the shift we need. From control to character. From dominance to discipline. From fear to freedom. So the next time things fall apart, and they will, remember this: it's not your job to fix the world. It's your job to master yourself. The world doesn't owe you comfort. But you owe yourself clarity. You owe yourself courage. And you owe yourself the peace that comes from knowing you've done your part, and that's enough. When someone lies to you, you can't control that. But you can choose to be honest. When someone disrespects you, you can't control that. But you can choose dignity. When life hits you, you can't stop the blow. But you can choose your response. That's power. That's Stoic power. Quiet. Humble. Relentless. Epictetus said it best: seek not for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly. That's not surrender. That's alignment. That's dropping the chains of expectation and walking freely, no matter what comes. You're not weak for feeling fear. You're human. But you are strong for not letting fear own you. You are strong for showing up, again and again, even when nothing is certain. You are strong for letting go of control and holding on to your values. So if you've been trying to control too much, take a breath. If your mind is spinning with worry, slow down. Step back. Look at what's truly in your hands. Your choices. Your attitude. Your next step. That's where your power lies. The rest, let it go. You'll be tempted, again and again, to grab the wheel of fate. But every time you choose presence over panic, wisdom over reaction, and virtue over outcome, you break the addiction. You reclaim your mind. You live the Stoic way. In a world obsessed with control, the Stoic stands calm, not because he controls everything, but because he no longer needs to. And that, my friend, is the greatest freedom of all.